Welcome! Thank you for joining us for today's lesson. This is part of a 6-lesson series brought to you by the Food Trust Nutrition Educators. The Food Trust works to ensure that everyone has access to affordable, nutritious food and the information to make healthy choices. In this series, we'll be covering topics such as planning and saving on groceries, fruits and vegetables, bone strength, and more. Join us each week as we share nutrition information from My Plate, as well as tips and tricks to eating more healthy food at every meal. Meet our nutrition educators, who you'll get to know through our lessons or recipe demonstrations. We're excited to have you with us. Again for joining us. Please fill out our anonymous survey at the end of this video so that we can find out more about who we're reaching and how to serve our audience best. Mention that you watched our lesson online and you can earn food coupons to use when purchasing fruits and vegetables at a participating farmers market. Find the list of participating markets below on the survey form. We hope you come back for next week's lesson. See you then!
Good afternoon. My name is Wayne from the Food Trust, and if you're joining us for the first time, this is our first week of a 6-week series of nutrition education program. Our lesson today, as you can see, is Plan, Shop, and Save. And what we're going to talk about is planning on how to shop and save, particularly with a focus on buying healthy foods. The keynote to healthy food is we're not talking about exotic healthy food, we're talking about basic healthy food, apples, oranges, carrots, healthy foods in that nature. Whole grain versus processed grains. So we're not talking about exotic healthy food, but healthy food that you can get right at your corner store. Our key messages for this lesson today, Plan, Shop, and Save, is one, planning ahead of meals and snacks can save money and time. Using a shopping list can save us money and time. Comparing food prices can save us money and time. Saving money by planning meals and snacks ahead. The key element is, how do we use these to actually save money and time? If you take a look at your pamphlet again, we're going to go over that, and somebody give us some answers to the first question. How can we use a shopping list to save money and time? Anybody? That's good. Planning and shopping and writing a list save us time because it allows us to go through a supermarket, know what we're looking for, pick up healthy items as opposed to the items that we would normally get, and we know exactly where we're going and we know how much money we're going to spend before we get in there. This is going to save us time and it's going to save us money. I know it's kind of complicated because even myself, when I go to the supermarket, I generally don't take a list. I try to, like most people, keep it on my head, but as a practice, I'm beginning to look and find a better way to plan and shop. So I'm starting to use a list, which saves me a lot of time and a lot of money. What are some of the other reasons why a list is important to us? That's good. Another reason that a list is important to us, sometimes it will stop us from buying stuff that we may already have at home. Because sometimes we may already have it either in the refrigerator or in the clipboard. If we don't know that without the list, we'll rebuy stuff we're saving. And when we do rebuy stuff like that, we're wasting time and money. That is a key point, another reason for having a list and the benefits of it. Another important element is comparing food prices when we shop. We always want to compare food prices when we shop. In fact, we have two brands here to give you an illustration of that. One is a national brand, and the other one is a local brand, which means a store brand. How much you think the national brand costs versus the local brand? Somebody just give us a guess. Which one do you think costs highest, or do you think they are the same price? Anyone, tell me what you think. That's good. The national brand normally will cost more than the local store brand. Now the question becomes, we want to talk about and making a comparison. We want to ask you to taste these first. One is the national brand and one is the local store brand. And what we want to do is see which one tastes best. Look, because this is a raisin brand. Take a look at them. See how many raisins in the national brand, how many raisins in the local brand. I want you to taste these, and then I want you to tell us which one you think is the best. And as you can see, once you do the taste test, there's not much difference. There's not that much difference in terms of amount of raisins. There's not that much difference in terms of taste or texture. But here's the thing. The national brand actually costs $4.95. Now, the local brand, which is the store brand, it only costs $2.90. And what we're looking at, that's called price comparison. We're comparing the amount of this box of raisin brands to the national box of raisin brand. And as we demonstrate in the taste test, they both taste the same. They have just about the same amount of raisins. So therefore, we will save, if we brought the local box, we will save close to $1.50 as opposed to buying the national brand. Now here's my question to you. After tasting both of them, which one would you buy? It's also important to pay attention to what we call nutrition facts, because it's very important, because even though we know that the local brand costs less than the national brand, what we also find here is that the national brand has only 8 servings. The store brand, the local brand, actually has 9 servings. So that means actually you get an extra serving for less money than you would if you brought the national brand with 8 servings. And these national, probably food nutrition labels are very important, because it helps us to see not only the quality and the quantity of a brand versus another, it also helps us to understand the nutrition value of one brand versus another. And when you look at both of these, they're not much different when it comes to nutritional value. One of the ways to save money when shopping for food is price comparison, looking for deals and shopping at different stores. Here we can see 3 ads from different stores. These ads are normally sent direct to your home through the mail, or can be found at the entrance of a store. We're going to use these ads to compare the price of a vegetable, asparagus. As we look through the different ads, you can see that each store has a different price per pound for asparagus that varies from 88 cents per pound to $3 per pound. Had we not checked the ads for asparagus before shopping, we could spend as much as $2 per pound on asparagus. By checking the advertisements, we can find best deals and best ways to save money, especially for stuff and products that we buy every day. And of course, the last one is saving money by planning meals. The other footnote to that, remember, never want to go shopping hungry. Why don't you never want to go shopping hungry? Anybody? That's good. Because if you go shopping hungry, you end up buying, like I do, more than you need, or buying stuff that you really don't want to eat. You get it in the house, and once you start eating it, you're done with it. So you're wasting money again. So when we think about planning a meal, we think about what meal do you like best, and what ingredients that you need for that particular meal. Make sure you put all that on the list, but before you put it on the list, make sure you check your refrigerator, check your cupboard, make sure that you don't have any of the ingredients already in the house. Now what we want you to do is take a few moments, look on your handout there and want you to plan a meal. Think of a meal that you would like to feed your family or one you would like for yourself. I want you to write down everything that you need for that particular meal. And then we're going to take a look at how we can go about buying that meal and save money and time in the process. And this is my meal, pumpkin pancakes. Now, before I put together my list, like I said earlier, you always want to check and make sure, because you may have some of these ingredients already in your house. And that will save you a lot of time, trouble, and money. So when you think about putting a meal together, think about what you already have. And so since I already have some of these eggs, happen to have a can of pumpkin nuts, no low-fat milk, but I probably would change low-fat milk, because another thing about recipes, you can always adapt the recipe to your taste. You don't have to use the recipe just as is. And then there's 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil we have here, and of course I'm going to add a little honey and a little cinnamon. Always remember, because if you don't like it, then you won't eat it. So what good would the recipe be if you're not going to like it? So always remember your personal preference when you come up with a recipe. It don't have to be as is. Okay, and again, as you can see here, this is what we call my plate. And this is the recommended amount of healthy foods we should take in per day. That's why we call it my plate, because it's actually your plate. Dairy, protein, vegetables, fruit, and grain. Now when we go shopping, we want to make sure that we have at least some of these on there. You may not get all of them, but try to get some fresh fruits, some fresh vegetables. But the key note, if you can't get fresh vegetables, because sometimes fruits and vegetables may be out of season, then it's okay to get frozen vegetables, frozen or candied vegetables. But if you get candied or frozen, candied or vegetables or fruit, make sure with the vegetables that you want to drain the juice out of the can and run cold water through them, because what that does, it reduces the amount of sodium that you will find in a can of vegetables. And the same thing with fruits. Fruits are packed in many cases with a lot of sugary syrup, and you want to pour that out. And so the other is grains. When you go shopping for grains, you don't have to get all whole grains. You can mix it up. Half whole grains, half refined grains. Whole grain is like wheat bread, brown rice. Those are considered like into whole grains. And again, I want to thank all y'all for coming out. Always good to see you. My name is Wayne with the Food Trust, and I hope to see you. How many going to be here next week? Next week is fruits and vegetables. That's our lesson for next week. Raise your hand. Good. I hope to see you.